Welcome back to Game Story Explained. Today, we're unpacking the massive narrative of Resident Evil, Requiem. This game doesn't just push the timeline forward to the year 2026. It drags us kicking and screaming back to where the nightmare truly began, Raccoon City. We're dealing with a new protagonist, tied to a classic character, the return of Leon S. Kennedy, fighting a ticking clock inside his own body, and massive lore bombs about Oswald E. Spencer, Umbrella, and the shadowy syndicate known as the Connections. Let's dive into the full story and lore of Resident Evil, Requiem. Act 1, The Echoes of Raccoon City. Our story kicks off in 2026 with FBI agent Grace Ashcroft. If that last name sounds familiar, it should. Grace is the adopted daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, the investigative journalist who survived the Raccoon City outbreak back in 1998. Grace is investigating a string of bizarre murders where victims, all Raccoon City survivors, are found with strange black blotches on their skin. The trail leads her to the abandoned Wrenwood Hotel, the very place where her mother was murdered years prior by an unknown assassin. While investigating, Grace finds her mother's hidden journal and an MO disc. But before she can leave, an outbreak is triggered. She's attacked, bitten, and eventually choked out by a massive, terrifying man named Dr. Victor Gideon. Meanwhile, DSO agent Leon S. Kennedy is tracking the exact same string of murders. He's working with mission coordinator Sherry Birkin, another Raccoon City survivor. Both Leon and Sherry are suffering from the same black blotches as the victims. This condition is dubbed Raccoon City Syndrome, a latent, mutated residual T virus infection that has been slowly adapting in their bodies for decades. It's fatal, and they are running out of time. Leon tracks Victor Gideon to Wrenwood, but Gideon initiates a local outbreak to cover his escape with Grace. Act 2, The Rhodesill Care Center. Grace wakes up bound in the Rhodesill Chronic Care Center, a facility secretly owned by Gideon. She quickly realizes she didn't turn into a zombie after being bitten because she was given a mysterious stabilizer. She breaks out and navigates the terrifying facility, realizing that these new zombies retain echoes of their former lives. Chefs still chop meat. Doctors try to diagnose patients. She also encounters a blind young girl named Emily and a horrific, light-sensitive bioweapon known simply as the Girl, who is aggressively hunting them. Leon infiltrates the facility shortly after, fighting his way through hordes of infected. He encounters Gideon, who easily overpowers an infection-weakened Leon, taunting him about Umbrella's curse. Grace delves deeper into the facility's basement, a grim processing center where unwanted patients are turned into BOWs. She manages to rescue Emily, and they attempt to escape via a helicopter. Unfortunately, the chopper crashes on the grounds. Leon regroups with them, and they seek refuge in the facility's water treatment plant. To save them, Grace opens the roof of the facility, flooding the area with sunlight, and finally killing the light-sensitive monster hunting them. Tragically, Emily succumbs to her injuries and begins to mutate, forcing Leon to put her down. Gideon corners a traumatized Grace. He's accompanied by a man in a white suit named Zeno, who bears a striking resemblance to Albert Wesker. Zeno tells Grace she is the final piece to building a brave new world, and they whisk her away via helicopter. Act 3, Return to Ground Zero. Sherry uncovers that Victor's coordinates lead right to the crater of Raccoon City. She also discovers that there is no government record of the 1998 missile strike, implying a massive cover-up by a shadow organization to hide something called Elpis. Leon heads to Ground Zero alone. He fights his way through the desolate, ash-covered ruins of the city, dealing with giant mutated spiders and heavily decayed zombies. He even has a high-speed motorcycle duel with Gideon, seemingly killing the Mad Doctor in an explosion. Leon's journey forces him to confront his deepest traumas. He returns to the ruins of the RPD station and Kendo's gun shop, finding painful reminders of his first day on the job. Deep underground, beneath the Raccoon City orphanage, lies ARC, a massive, hidden bioweapons production hub. Grace wakes up here with Zeno, who finally drops the lore bombs. Zeno represents the Connections, the same syndicate behind the mold from Resident Evil 7. The Connections orchestrated Umbrella's downfall and ordered the bombing of Raccoon City to secure ARC and its greatest prize, Elpis. They believe Elpis is Oswald E. Spencer's ultimate bioweapon, capable of controlling human consciousness. Zeno reveals the horrifying truth about the Rhodesill Care Center. Emily and the monster that hunted them were failed clones. The Connections have been trying to clone Grace because they believe she holds the biological key to unlocking Elpis. Act 4. A Father's Requiem. A dying Leon fights his way into ARC, battling tyrants, lickers, and an elite mercenary who fights an awful lot like Hunk. While Leon distracts Zeno, Grace finds a secure terminal and finally plays the MO disc her mother left behind. The disc contains Alyssa's final interview with Oswald E. Spencer before his death in 2006. In a shocking twist, Spencer expresses deep regret for his vain ambitions and the destruction he caused. He reveals that Grace was not a clone, but a normal orphan he adopted to be his hope for the future. Grace rejoins Leon at the central refining system where Elpis is kept. Zeno threatens to kill Leon unless Grace inputs the password. Remembering her mother's words and Spencer's final interview, Grace types the password, Hope. Elpis is unlocked, but it isn't a mind control virus. It's exactly the opposite. Spencer created Elpis as the ultimate antiviral, a permanent cure for all progenitor-based viruses, including the T-virus. A surviving victor, Gideon, arrives just as Zeno injects himself with Elpis, thinking it will give him godlike control. Instead, it instantly strips Zeno of his mutant Wesker-like powers. Realizing he is now just a powerless human, Zeno is swiftly decapitated by a heavily mutated Gideon. The climax and ending Grace stabs Leon with a vial of Elpis, instantly curing him of Raccoon City syndrome. Furious that bioweapons are now useless and his dream of forced human evolution is dead, Victor Gideon injects himself with the Nemesis Gamma parasite, mutating into a towering monstrosity. Leon, fully cured and back to peak strength, destroys Umbrella's last skeleton once and for all. As ARC collapses around them, Leon and Grace are rescued by an elite tactical unit, but it isn't the standard BSAA. It's Chris Redfield's rogue Hound Wolf squad. In the aftermath, the existence of ARC is leaked to the press, blowing the lid off the government's cover-up of the Raccoon City incident. We learn Sherry Birkin received a dose of Elpis and is cured. Grace, back at the FBI, has taken custody of the real Emily, the original girl she met at the care center, confirming the monster they fought was indeed a clone. But the game leaves us with a chilling post-credits scene. Down in the ruined ARC facility, 2 elite soldiers working for the Connections execute surviving BSAA agents, stating they have secured the objective before Chris Redfield's wolves can arrive.